Hey everyone, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. Today I'm working on the 240SX. I promise I'm almost ready for body work. I have to take care of a few other things on my whiteboard that have just been irritating me for a long time, and I want to give the car a good thorough inspection and service and all that stuff. So if you haven't seen the last video, I've got a link to it down in the description box below. I started fixing all of my mistakes. I have learned a lot over the years. I've learned a lot of the right ways to do things and the wrong ways to do things, and there was a lot of stuff with this car that I just wasn't happy with. I mean, I was working with the knowledge that I had at the time, but it just wasn't good. So I have fixed most of it. The front end is looking really, really good. There's still some things that I need to tackle here and there, but in this video, I'm going to give the car a full servicing. So change the oil, transmission fluid, diff fluid. I need to replace the starter because the solenoid's starting to hang up, and I need to take care of a power steering leak. So other than that, you can see the whiteboard. I'm going to install a new catch can as well. Just give the car a good thorough inspection. There's probably some other stuff I'm going to come up with here and there. I don't know. I'm just taking care of all the piddly stuff at this point so I can really focus on body work with my friend Andy once he's ready. So anyway, before I get started, I'd like to extend a huge thanks to BenPack. They've been supporting my channel for years now. Most of my shop equipment is BenPack, my lifts are BenPack, their stuff's top notch, and their customer service is even better. One of my old floor jacks just recently died on me, and they were kind enough to send a couple of replacements for me to try out, and there are two different types of models for different types of vehicles, which is pretty cool. On one hand, I've got this lowrider floor jack that can raise 3 tons. It stands about 3 5/8 inches tall when it's in its collapsed position, and it raises up to 21 inches, which is pretty cool because most jack stands, that's about where they peak out, and a lot of jacks out there don't go quite that high, and it can be really annoying if you just need that extra inch or two. So anyway, looking forward to trying that jack out, but what I'm really excited about is this low profile long frame jack. It has a 34-inch frame, and when collapsed, it stands only 2 3/4 inches tall. So with stuff like the 240, which can be a super bear to jack up sometimes just because trying to wedge a typical jack in between the frame rail and the ground and whatnot, this is extremely versatile and will work with all kinds of lower vehicles. So very, very cool. Big thanks to them once again. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this car up in the air and start changing some fluids. While I was replacing the catch can, I also took the opportunity to clean that corner of the engine bay up quite a bit. It's nothing that anybody would probably ever notice, but it looks a lot better now than it did before. I just rerouted some wires, rerouted the fuel lines, trimmed back some vacuum lines, and I also made a grommet for the firewall where the harness passes through, because obviously I don't have the original harness anywhere, so now the engine bay is nicely sealed off from the passenger compartment in that area. So now I'm going to tackle the last major thing that I wanted to do in this video, and that's pulling the entire exhaust system out, including the turbo and the header. And you're probably wondering, why in the world would you do something crazy like that? Well, it's another one of those little details that you probably wouldn't ever notice unless I pointed it out, but way back when I had all of these hot parts like the header, downpipe, hot side of the turbo, and that dump tube right there, coated in a Cerakote product, which is a very good product, but it just did not withstand the heat of this setup. So in the collector area, the coating has almost completely cracked apart, and it just doesn't look good, and I wanted to clean up the routing of some of the hoses and so on and so forth. So anyway, I'm pulling all of that stuff out and having it all recoated by Jet Hot using their very high temperature 2K coating. And I'll talk about that more in an upcoming video. But again, it's just one of those things, you know, we're moving to the final completion of this car, and I want everything to be as top notch as possible. So extra work, but it's going to be worth it. Also, real quick, I almost forgot. I wanted to give you guys a heads up on something else that I'm trying to figure out, and that's air conditioning. So, obviously, in this swap, I ended up ditching the entire original AC system. I had sourced some AC or original AC components to put back in the car, but I think I'm going to go a more universal custom route and just make my own hoses. So, that is an old Skyline AC compressor down there. I actually have a new old stock AC compressor with the correct fittings to use, but I ordered all sorts of different fittings and hoses, a universal condenser, dryer, all from a company called Cold Hose. So I'm waiting on all that stuff to come in, then I can start trying to figure out the jigsaw puzzle, but I am trying to figure out functional AC in this car, and I will keep you guys up to date. Hopefully, if I figure it all out, you guys will see a video on the process. With the header out of the car, you can get a really good idea on just, what ended up failing on this coating. So this is a very, very nice equal length runner manifold that I picked up years ago, but you can just see all of the cracking and flaking mainly around this collector area just because it gets so unbelievably hot. Honestly, when the car is at full tilt, I would not be surprised if some of it actually glowed, but you know, that would be a neat little video. But anyway, so Jet Hot is going to completely strip these parts, the header, downpipe, the dump tube, and the hot side of the turbo, and coat it in their, you know, very, very high temperature 2K coating. It's going to have a little bit of a texture to it, so different look, but it should well withstand all of the heat this can generate, and it's going to look pretty cool too. So time to send everything off and see what else I got to do. So I'm pretty much finished filming what I wanted to film for this video. I have a lot of cleanup to do. I have a lot of figuring to do. I'm going to end up redoing a lot of the lines on this side of the engine, like the turbo coolant lines. I'm also going to plumb up the dump valve into the cooling system and just put in some higher quality lines and so on and so forth. I've also got a lot of figuring to do. I've got some more stuff to do behind the front bumper, including all of that air conditioning stuff that I mentioned. But good news, I got all of my stuff today. Here is the tentative plan. I will be making a video on this process. So I've got my new old stock R33 Skyline air conditioning presser right here. I have the fittings that were originally attached to the Skyline compressor. And basically what's going to happen, I'm going to weld on new repair fittings to these lines and route the air conditioning hose similar to how it would have been in the 240 from the factory. You know, some things have to be switched up a little bit, but I've got a bunch of other fittings to go to my universal air conditioning compressor. This is 11 inches by 20 inches, a universal dryer. It's got a threaded port for a trinary switch, so, you know, cut the compressor on or off, you know, depending on, you know, the pressure of the AC system and whatnot, but it'll also activate the electric fans that I have, dual 8-inch Mishimoto high flow electric fans. So technically the car is going to have 4 electric fans, which probably sounds a little insane, but in wanting to keep the car as cool as possible, air conditioning adds heat, so I don't think we're going to have any problem here. So in a future video, I'll walk you guys through everything that I'm going to do, and hopefully we see some really good results out of it. Alright guys, before I close the video out, I wanted to bring you over and say hi to Andy and get a little bit of a sneak peek on the stuff that he's been working on in the background. Well, he has been here starting to prep parts for paint while I finish up this video. So anyway, surprise Andy, you want to be on camera?
What's up? Yeah man, not a problem with that. Here we are today, wrapping up a couple of parts belonging to the rear of the vehicle. We've been using the TranStar products for the liquids, epoxy primer, sealer, including the base and the clear is going to be our plans for this car. Having used them before, products have turned out wonderfully. Right here, this is just the rear valance of the car, and it's been done up. Still got to do a little bit of mud work on it, and very, you know, light areas. Been able to wrap up the hatch for the vehicle. It's turned out looking great, inside and out, pretty much as if you would expect it to be brand new. That is going to be the goal for this, including side skirt components, the spoiler. And with the prep work with all of this, Klingspor has been a great hand for us, wonderful help, providing me with all the papers that I need. With many of the products, you know, having had metal work, we had to use an array of sandpaper from dry to wet. At the moment, you know, I'm dealing with some wet sanding, but before all of this, it was 36, 80, 180, 220, 320, and right now, with it being wet sanding, a lot of the finished work I take from 400 all the way up to 600 before I start applying any actual final liquid material on it. We've got end caps for the side skirts. We've got the side skirts done. Here we have, you know, some product finishes of them. I mean, these things have turned out pretty much as if you were to, you know, what you would expect ordering them online, if you could get them online, new old stock, if not even better, new. Just putting in that diligent work to get them to look that way, but everything is turning out really great. And so Klingspor has been, you know, for the material on the sandpaper, TranStar on the liquids, and I've had great experience with them before. and I'm continuing to have great experience with them now. It's a little bit hot out here, but it's not your fault. Other than that, looking forward to getting this 240 project done up and everybody being able to enjoy it along with my brother Kyle, and hopefully, you know, everybody will have smiles coming soon.
Absolutely. There's just one more thing that I want to do at the end of this video. You know what that is?
What's that, bro?
Let's check out the color.
Oh, okay. Oh, you know what? That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I still haven't even popped that can open yet. But we can do that real quick. Let's see here. Excuse the mess. Working man's stance here, you know?
Oh, you're fine.
We got a couple of products, like I said, being used. Transtar, absolutely great product. They've come in handy. This is not the proper tool to open this, but I'm gonna do it anyways.
So in case anybody was wondering, I've mentioned it before, but the car is going back the original color. It's called Midnight Blue Pearl. Very, very pretty color.
Absolutely.
So we're seeing this for the first time.
This is the first time we popped this can open, and this is a 1-to-1 mix, high solids.
Oh man!
Really nice. Let's see if I can find me a good
nice clean stir stick. Yeah. Pause.
So yeah, 1-to-1 mix on this color, high solids, and putting it on a paint stick really isn't even gonna show us exactly what this should be, but man, I mean, it's beautiful. It's thick and it is beautiful.
Absolutely. I had a light that was above the paint booth, but it messed up, so I had to replace it. So this is as good as we're gonna get for a first sneak peek at the moment. Obviously, it's going to be really awesome seeing this applied to some actual parts. But anyway, guys.
Coming soon.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for your patience. From Andy and I, thanks so much for watching.
Peace out.
If you guys enjoyed the video, please don't forget to leave a like below because it really helps the videos a lot. And if you haven't subscribed already, consider doing that too, and make sure those notifications are turned on. More 240SX content is on its way. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.